This is the Infinity Summit Group. Truth, passion, success.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Infinity Summit Group podcast, where we try to teach you our best about financial, political, and spiritual success as we learn too. Today is May 10th, 2021. I'm Noah.
Xavier.
Logan.
Jesse.
And we got a special guest here today. We got Dalan over here. Dalan, tell us a little bit about yourself. You got a maroon shirt on?
I'm down. I do have a maroon shirt on. It's actually like 30% of my wardrobe is maroon shirts.
Yeah.
No, just like 3 out of
When you find something you like,
shirts.
I've heard that Mark Zuckerberg has like one color in his wardrobe.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Then he doesn't have to make that decision in the morning.
No, I just
And
need
you
to
can
buy more
focus on other
shirts. I've
stuff.
had these ones since before I was married. It's pretty bad. I'm just too lazy to buy more.
Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So
Fair.
my wife throws it out, but I wouldn't be too sad about that.
Fair enough. So Dalan, we were just talking about off the podcast, cryptocurrencies and stocks. I am incredibly curious what the heck you're in.
Yeah.
The list and why, if you're willing to share.
Oh, heck yeah, dude. I'm willing to share anything you guys can think to ask me.
Share as much or as little as you want about that stuff and what kind of plays, strategies maybe.
So my strategy is definitely, like I was saying earlier, buy and hold, because that's the only way I've ever made money. So
enough.
as far as cryptos go, I'm trying to get back up to a full Ethereum. I had over Ethereum because I bought it when it was at $300, and I bought like $350 worth.
Oh.
So man, I felt cool back when it was going up. And then I sold it earlier this year to pay for a trip out to Missouri. So that was kind of like, oh, I'll sell it, whatever. Then it keeps going up. Dang, I should have just bit the bullet and used fiat money.
Yeah, it just doubled in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's
So,
disgusting.
but who knows when it'll crash? So it's really just a matter of what will happen with it.
Yeah.
A lot of it is starting to become like, I want these coins more than I want my money, like my
It's
dollar.
crazy,
So
huh?
it's like
I'm sitting here like,
even if the value's going through the roof, what good does that do me if I want the coin more than I want the dollar? Like
Yep.
it really doesn't change much, because I don't know, as I see it, more and more the dollar's worth less and less, especially like I'm in the lumber industry in cabinets and stuff like
it's
that.
disgusting.
Man, lumber prices are bonkers. Like we're having a hard time getting our regular everyday MDF sheets. Like you Logan, you work at Fash, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you know anything about the lumber stuff, but
I know a little bit. I haven't really kept up on it, but
yeah.
It's disgusting. I've seen these posts on Facebook. People have a sheet of plywood and they're like, I know what I have. I'll only trade it for a Lambo.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wait,
It's
so
bonkers.
the price of wood is just
disgusting.
It's skyrocketing, because a lot of it has to do with when COVID shut everything down, they reduced how much they're pushing out, but building and stuff, like building houses, didn't slow down. Like we didn't really slow down. So
It's essential working.
yeah, so we shot through the roof with how much houses we're doing this year, way more than we've done previous years, and lumber prices have gone through the roof because they slowed down production where we increased production. So
It's
and
a
they're
supply and
even
demand thing.
they're even having a hard time getting it to us, because a lot of the truckers, instead of going up to the mills and bringing it to our suppliers, then bringing it to us, they'll go up and just go somewhere else and like, oh, this other person decided to pay me double for that for my truck, rather than you paying the price we agreed on the date that we agreed on. I'm just gonna say F you and go and pick up a completely different load. And so our
Understandable.
suppliers are just like, shoot,
And
we got
that
to
sucks.
build our own supply chain now. We have to do all that ourselves because these guys just do something else. So.
The wild west in the wood industry.
It is right now, dude. It's bonkers. Like,
Go plant a tree, harvest $100,000 in 10
yeah.
years.
Our ordering guy, Jared, he's stressing out over it because he's doing ordering and stuff. It's brutal for him. It sucks.
There's a lot of
that
stuff.
same with
seems like
steel. Corn went up. Wasn't it like a couple 100% on corn?
Really? I
Maybe.
haven't heard that one. I don't
quote me
know.
on that,
Oil
but-
been going up.
Yeah.
All the
You
commodities.
guys into any oil ETFs or anything like that?
No.
I
I did
had
play
one for a
around
minute.
on a swing trade. Did
Yeah.
real good on it. Or could have done real good. But
Yeah.
all right, I'll tell you about it. So I saw a real good swing trade on BP.
Mm-hmm.
Played it out beautifully, went to get out. And actually, I went to set a limit stop order to where if it dropped any lower,
Yeah.
then I would just jump out. But what I ended up doing was just setting a market order
Oh.
at the lower price. And so I was, I think, what did I say? I was like $70 in profit or something. And I ended up getting out of it at about $7 in profit.
Oh, that's so brutal.
I was like,
so sucky.
And so I've lost money a couple times because I didn't know how to use the app. That
Yeah.
I was using.
What app were you using? Like
using
Webull?
Webull, yeah.
I've never gone into that one. I get emails like, "Oh, get like 5 free stocks. You just give us $100."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I need to because then it's like a free 5
I'll
stocks.
send you a
but-
link because I'll get free stocks too.
Yeah.
I'd love it.
I would, but I keep forgetting to even do any of that. Like
Yeah.
I got my wife's younger brother Asher. I sent him a Robinhood link forever ago. Completely
Mm-hmm.
forgot about it. And it's like, hey, claim your free stocks. Like, oh heck yeah!
Nice.
Sweet.
Finally did it.
It's like $5 or 3 $5 stocks. Like, yes,
Yeah.
take it. It's a free $15, dude. Solid.
Yeah, that's where I started was Robinhood, but Webull's just got so much more
Yeah.
you can use.
I haven't really put a ton into Robinhood for a while, especially after GME, that whole thing. Like, I want to try and work my way out of
interesting.
Robinhood, but I haven't really done anything, so I've just kind of
Yeah.
left my money there. And
I play in both because Robinhood has the instant deposit. That's
oh
so
yeah,
sexy.
it's so nice.
It's literally the only exchange I know of that has instant deposit, where it's
Yeah.
your full amount instantly.
Yeah.
Up to like $5,000 or whatever if you
Yeah.
have gold. But yeah, Webull's been fun
Yeah.
to learn, and then I lost a lot more money because I didn't know how to use the app on Bybit. Try to do some leverage trading with Ethereum. That's why I said don't get me started on it.
Sounds like a lot of money to lose or gain if you do it right.
Yeah, so that one, because I didn't know how to use the app, I think my first trade I lost about $1,400.
Man,
Oh
so
yeah,
brutal.
Jeez.
That's almost a house payment, dude.
Dude, after that I was like,
Almost.
just kind of made me rethink my life a bit. And then basically I tell the listeners now, don't leverage trade until you absolutely know, because going through Bybit, I lost probably around $3,000 in
Dang.
3 days.
That sucks, dude.
Um,
but
but
it's
you
a
can
learning.
gain-
yeah.
you can gain $600 in 15 minutes. It's like, fuck.
Oh yeah, you can see why people do it for full-time jobs for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but for me it was full-time gambling because I didn't know I didn't know anything about it. Even now I wouldn't do it until I can consistently hit things. Then nah. Maybe a couple years down the road.
So are you guys doing anything outside of like cryptos and stocks to earn money besides your regular jobs? Any side hustles besides, this?
We got houses coming up.
Oh, yeah?
In Tennessee.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, what company was that? Are you guys going through?
Midwest.
Yeah,
Or Mid-South.
yeah.
Mid-South home
yeah.
buyers. Yeah.
So you guys have been on their waiting list for that long?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like a 9-10 month waiting list,
Yeah.
dude.
I think we should be bubbling up in June.
Nice. That would be slick.
So yeah, we'll be throwing a down payment on those.
That'd be
then-
freaking cool.
Are you
Yeah.
buying houses through them?
No, we wanted to. I don't have the capital to do that right now because I've, unfortunately, with having a kid, we had some issues where we had insurance, I'm putting air quotes. It wasn't actual insurance. It was super stupid, so that cost me tons of money. I could have been saving up.
Oh yeah.
So we did get an offer with another group of people that we trust a lot to go in on some other houses or whatever.
Heck yeah.
And we just have to put down like $5,000 or something like that. So like,
That's
I
not
can
bad.
work on that, and then they'd upfront the rest of the money, and then we'd split it equally to not
Right.
equally, but on how much money you put in.
Whatever
That's how much you
percentage
get.
of the down payment.
Yeah, so it was really solid that way. They haven't gone anywhere yet because house has been flying off the shelves so fast that I don't think they've had a chance to get anything. So
Probably not.
but I think some of them in that group are on that list for that Midwest company or whatever, and so they're hopefully going to get that one. I think they're just doing it as their own thing, and then buying houses with our capital as well. So it was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That's it.
Not a bad
Yeah.
gig.
Not bad at all. If it works out, If not, then I'll just save that money and put it towards something else.
Heck
Something
yeah.
else cool, hopefully.
Oh yeah.
Apologize. Now before we move on to like real estate and things like that, I want to go back to the stocks and cryptos. So what exact stocks are you in? What cryptos are you in, and why?
I'm in a lot of stocks because I don't know how to put my money in one spot and let it grow. I just like to throw it at everything, but unfortunately that means I got a little bit in everything. All right, so
So you could use an ETF if you're doing that. Just
Yeah,
use
so
like
I
a
do have-
SPY ETF or something.
I had a lot of REITs and ETFs and stuff like
Oh,
that,
okay.
mostly in REITs, but then COVID hit and just like tanked them all. So luckily I was able to buy a little bit of the the REITs when COVID hit, but that was right around the time when I had my baby. So I was like, I don't want to spend any of my money. I just barely had a baby, so I'm trying to keep everything locked down. Should have just went for it, but oh man, I'm in. I don't know if you guys seen like WSR, Whitestone REIT, new residential investment. There's another one that's like a New York Mortgage Trust. That one was pretty big back before COVID hit and New York tanked. So
So you're in a bunch of like housing ETFs essentially.
Yeah, for a while there, and then I kind of diversified with some other things. Like I got some Hitachi, some Coca-Cola, but not a lot of any of these shares. So I have a lot of different shares across the board. So I'm basically my own ETF.
Yeah, you
Which isn't-
got your fingers in every pie, but just a little bit.
Got
of your
one
finger.
GME, of course. Got a diamond hands,
Oh,
hold on
of
to
course.
it. I'm up $42 on it, so it's pretty solid.
There you go.
Got Coinbase, but down $30 on that, so that sucks. Yeah, but I don't know if you want to pass around my phone. I got quite a bit of just all the. Just scroll down, and you'll see the list
sure.
of ones that I'm in because
Maybe
it's
we can mention some of the ones that we've played with a little bit.
yeah. When I started doing it, I like really paid
Nice.
attention, looked at their because I was trying to get dividend ones that I could just slowly build over time. But I was like, looked at
Tesla,
their
you sexy beast.
not a full stock, not a full share though.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, just like going through,
Nice.
really paying attention to their financials and all this stuff. And eventually, like, I'm bored. I'm just gonna keep throwing money at it, and it's worked out or it hasn't. But I think with COVID going back, everything's just shooting up right now. Almost everything. So it's really hard to be.
Yeah.
It was difficult to be negative for a while there. Like I know some people who jumped in March when COVID hit, like after everything crashed. So then they jumped in right there. They're up tons of money.
Yeah.
Jumped in a year before that, year too soon.
Yeah.
Damn, you're in everything.
It's like, holy crap. I'm looking at it like, dang.
I have one stock.
Yeah, but you see, all of my shares are like, I think the highest is like 15, but it's of one that's like $4 a share or something like that. So I really don't have a whole lot of shares in anything.
That's fun. It's good to be an ETF because then even on the bad days, some of it's doing good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I can show you what percentage I'm up overall. Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
So overall, I'm up 51%. So
That's killer.
that's from
In
when I
about 2
started
years,
to
you
now.
say?
Yeah, 2 years.
That's
but
pretty good.
I mean, for a while there during COVID, I was down 10%, 14%, which not bad at all for COVID standards. But yeah, so I've been in it a while, and so I just kind of built up and built up. But unfortunately, I know people like, oh, I just went all in on this one, and then it blew up, and I got it out and then diversified. Like, oh, that might have been a good idea. But then as far as like cryptos go, I got like Cardano. I don't know if you guys saw on Coinbase where you could watch the videos and give you some free cryptos or whatever.
I've
heard of it, yeah.
You can still do it with a few of them, like one called Ampleforth. I don't have it. I haven't watched those videos, but it has quite a bit and give you $10-20 and some different coins, and hopefully they'll go up. So got one called Cello, one called Compound, Algorand, Cosmos, and Algorand and Cosmos I got because they have APY of 5 and 6%. So I'm staking them.
Oh, heck yeah.
So they're not the biggest ones. I know you can stake other ones for higher and stuff like that, but that's what I've had for quite a while now, and they've gone up, so I'm up quite a bit on those, but no.
Heck yeah.
Nothing too
And
crazy.
When did you start jumping into the cryptos?
I've held on to a little bit for a couple of years because, like I said before, I had some Ethereum. I think this was about 3 years ago. I had a little bit of Ethereum, a little bit of Bitcoin, and just kind of held on to it and watched Bitcoin go up to 19 grand, and everyone's, I bought it at 16 grand, like, oh, okay, and then it like kept going down, like, oh, dang it,
Yeah.
I tried a dollar cost average as it was going down, bought, and then it went way down, and I didn't buy more, and then it started going up, and I bought a little bit, and then it just keeps going up. I'm like, well, frick.
Yeah.
At this point, just keep throwing money at it, and then maybe pull it out.
Yeah. Seems like that's how a lot of the cryptos are going.
I did have one where I had like 2,500 or $3,000 in Bitcoin, and I was sitting there like, for whatever reason, from what I've been reading, from what I've been looking at, I think it's gonna crash, so I pulled out, and it crashed like 10 grand or something like that, and I was like, or no, it didn't crash 10 grand. It was, I pulled out, it went up like 2 more grand, like, I'll jump back in, then it crashed. Like, oh no,
That's how it always
just lost
goes.
everything. Yeah, I had FOMO hard, dude. It was brutal. It sucked.
Yeah, that FOMO just demolishes you all the time.
Oh yeah,
Fun.
it's good times.
Yeah, like I said, I'm in Harmony just purely because of that trade. But since I've been looking into them, I actually quite like the project. So I'm like,
yeah?
hell, I'll stay in it for a minute.
And what one's Harmony?
So it's called Harmony One,
Mm-hmm.
and essentially it's like a Cardano, but their network fee, like the transaction fee, is
Gas
way
fees.
small. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like 0.0000
Oh,
something.
that's nice.
It's
Yeah.
tiny. I don't know that I've ever used even one Harmony coin, and one Harmony is like 15 cents. So,
Oh, nice. It's not bad at all.
That's pretty good. And then they're also their transaction speed. Their goal, I think, is to get to 10 million transactions a second.
Wow,
So-
that would be legit because that's
Yeah.
definitely a
Crazy.
problem with cryptos. Some of them are just so slow.
Yeah, and they built on the Ethereum blockchain, but they have since created their own blockchain, and they're working on that right now. I also like them because their market cap's pretty darn low. I think it's between 1 and 2 billion, so it's pretty dang small. Got a lot of room for growth that
Yeah.
way, compared to some of the other ones, especially if a shitcoin
take a note of that.
like Doge can go up,
Shit, Quinn.
But they've been consolidating for about a month and a half now. Harmony, between about 12 and 15 cents.
Yeah.
And I've just
Take a
been,
note of that. Need to look into that further.
yeah, play with it. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear it because with me, it was more I got stuck in it, and then I'm like, okay, what can I find positive about this?
Yeah. Looking for all the positives, none of the
exactly.
negatives.
And I think I'm still about even.
Yeah.
But now I'm just in it. I'm like, well, the project's good. I'll just wait.
Yeah. I got people telling me they want to take 10 grand and just throw it in a bunch of different small coins and just try and see if one of them blows up. Like, dang, that would be cool to have just 10 grand to
Yeah.
go throw a couple $100,
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
$100 at everything and just see what blows up and makes your money back.
Yeah, well, some of them have tremendous fees. Like there's one, it's called Shiba coin or some crap.
Yeah, I think
it's
sounds
another
vaguely
another
familiar.
shit coin, and its network
that
fees are
one, I
like
remember.
$200 on $1,000. It's disgusting.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, all these people are like, yeah, I'm up 10,000%, and then the fees half
Yeah.
of that. It's like,
Yeah.
oh boy.
Ooh, Cardano's on Coinbase now.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they
they
got
got
listed on
just
Coinbase
recently.
about a month and a
Yeah.
half ago.
Okay, let's sell my Binance
That's
ones.
when they crashed.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it was going up right before, went up to about $1.50, and then it crashed back down to the $1.20 level.
Coinbase, I don't understand it because like they hit their IPO and everything like that, and I expected them to go up and then come down and then go up again, but they've only gone down. They went up for a bit and then they started coming down. They went up and then they keep going
The problem
down.
with the IPOs, because I've been watching a bunch of the IPOs, a lot of them been doing good until recently, and then they've been coming out overvalued.
Yeah.
And then they just...
I can
I'm
see that,
in
but
one.
like everybody I know who does crypto has some sort of Coinbase. Like everyone, and granted, I don't know tons of people on crypto, but like everybody has some sort of Coinbase, or at least that's where they started. So I'm
Yeah.
way surprised Coinbase hasn't capitalized on it more and being the first really big one. Now you
Well-
got everything like Binance and what is it? Binance US or whatever? Is that the...
Yeah, that's the one that
Yeah.
I use and always have.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard good things about that one, but I heard Binance has
I don't
more.
like it.
Oh, you don't like it?
No.
It sucks so bad.
Well, they just have so many coins on there. I think that's what's kicking Coinbase in the butt is that they don't have enough coins, and that's why they're making a huge push to get coins on there.
Yeah, so Binance,
from what I've
just
seen.
regular Binance, which I don't think you can use in the U.S., so you got to use a VPN or something.
Yep.
But I don't have one of those, so I don't really care. I just use Binance.us. But regular Binance, you got a ton of coins on there. You've got leverage trading. You've got anything you could want. So it's like, it's
Yeah.
pretty good. But Binance.us, their charting is just garbage. Like, it will say,
As bad as Robinson's?
no, they're probably pretty close.
Sucks.
It'll be like, oh, you're up 30% in the last 24 hours, because that's what it does. It does 24-hour chunks. And so if you're up or down a little bit, or when you transfer out, it's like, oh, you're negative 10,000% in the last 24 hours. Like, or you transfer in, you're up 1,000,000%. It's
That would be annoying.
yeah, it's ridiculous. And you can't even see your history like Robinhood, where you see your full history chart. That's freaking awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
Binance is nothing like that. You can't see anything.
Dang.
It's hard to keep track of everything. I just use it as an exchange to get it into other places or swap it
That
to
makes
US
sense.
dollars.
Yeah, that makes sense. When I was trying to get Cardano, I was trying to get a Binance account, but they were like, oh, you have to register and stuff. And also we're down because so many people are trying to do this
Yep.
right now. So like, frick.
Yep, it took forever.
Went to a bunch of different ones. Ended up finding one called Voyager, and it's all right. It's pretty good. But
a lot of people that I recommended Cardano to, I had to buy it through my Binance because I already had it set up, and then just transfer it to their wallet until they got it up.
yeah, that's what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
My brother bought it for me, and I just paid him. Gotta do what you got to do to get some cryptos.
Yeah.
As soon as you're verified, and you have your wallet, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been interesting to watch. Like I said, a lot of the stuff that I've been recommending people does great.
Yeah.
I just haven't had the patience up to this point, and now I'm like, okay, let's buckle down. Let's hit our price targets.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen the what was it, the Bitcoin golden ratio chart at all. It's a little confusing to look at because at first when I first saw it, I thought it was like updating in real time and stuff like that, but it's not. It's like a chart someone made last year sometime, so it's a bit old, but they just have their theory and mathematical formulas of when they think Bitcoin will crash again and how, not how far up that it'll go, but for how much longer the bull cycle is going to run and everything like that. It's pretty compelling. I'd take a look at it if you haven't. It's worth checking out. So
what does it say? Not financial advice to the listener.
Yeah, I think sometime early September is when they're theorizing that it'll crash again like that. I'd have to relook at the chart, but
And then we're supposed to have an alt season, or
alt season.
It has happened like the last time.
Yeah, that's what normally happens is an alt season, which I totally get. Like I was telling you before, somebody telling me they're going to get 10 grand and throwing a bunch of different alts.
Yep.
How many people are going to be doing that,
Once they've taken the profits off of Bitcoin.
Yeah, or lose their profits because it crashes. They try and remake some profits.
Yeah.
So
I kind of did that on a small scale. I took like literally $12, threw it in a bunch of the coins that are just like a couple cents or like less than even a cent. Now I'm up like double.
Yeah.
I'm at like $40 now.
Heck yeah.
I was like, all right.
I mined Dogecoin. You can't really mine Dogecoin, but you can get something that you mine a different coin that pays you out in Doge. I did that at the beginning of the year, and it gave me 50 coins, which was $2 at the time. I was like, oh, this is stupid. I'll start mining like Cardano, which I like better anyway, so it's been giving me that. And that is up to like $20 right now. Sweet, that $2 and
It's paying off.
10 times its value. So it's
How
pretty solid.
do you mine Cardano?
It's also an unmineable coin, so you don't mine it
Because
because
stake it.
Yeah, you can stake it, but I did the same thing that I did with Dogecoin. You get a miner called unmineable miner, and you mine a coin called Monero, I think, and it pays you out in Doge or Cardano or whatever you set it to pay you out in once you've mined enough of it. I have a pretty powerful CPU in my computer, and I'm like, well, I'm already using my graphics card to mine. Might as well keep my CPU running and do that too,
Yeah.
So
Does that cost you a lot in electricity at all, or
not too much. I got solar panels, so my electricity bill actually it is more because I have my solar panel cost, and then my electricity bill has only gone down a few dollars because I've kept 2 computers mining, and it's super inefficient because I only have 2 graphics cards. Instead of having in one, I have to have my main computer, so I have to have another one underneath my stairs set up to mine and everything, and it's too hard to find graphics cards right now to fill it. So
You make a halfway decent profit on mining? Or?
about every week and a half to 2 weeks, I'll make $100 of Ethereum, but that's now shot up to like I haven't been doing it for long, so I got like $300 from when I got it, and that's shot up to about $600. So it's pretty solid.
Yeah, that's not bad.
How do you mine?
And you're making that every week and a half to 2 weeks?
Yeah, and sometimes my computer crashes and I don't notice, and that's when it's like, oh frick, that could have been mining and it didn't. So when you mine, you can download a few different programs. There's one called like NB Miner. That's what I use. So I use it on both my miners, so they're mining to the same pool. So it's tons of people trying to mine the same Ethereum block basically, but now that Ethereum's moving to staking, it won't be profitable for too much longer.
Right.
At least my understanding of it. I don't know a ton.
I know the miners were pretty pissed about, is it EIP something or other?
From what I saw and what I read, all the miners that I was watching, and I don't watch tons of them, but the miners that I was watching, the ones that I was talking to, is like, we're not super pissed off about it. We knew it'd kind of happen. It'll bring Ethereum fees way down. We'll just move to a different coin. But then all the news articles I saw were like, oh, miners are livid, and they're gonna do a bunch of stuff to the Ethereum blockchain, and they're gonna crash it and stuff like that. And then I saw some miners talking about that, like, has anyone seen? Like, I'm in a bunch of different Discord channels, and no one's talked about that. I have no idea what these guys are talking about. So I don't know. Maybe there are some people talking about that, but I haven't seen it. No one I know has seen it. No one I've watched has seen it. And granted, I don't watch tons of mining stuff because I can't afford GPUs. It's not worth it. So well, it might be now, but so I got a 3060 underneath my stairs. I had a whole setup. So I'm like, okay, I have like 5 different slots. I can slot in GPUs and stuff, and had some cheaper cards that couldn't mine Ethereum because they were too weak, but I ended up selling them for about $50 to $100 more than I bought them for. So like per card. So I bought each card for like $200 or $250. I think it was more like $225 or something, but sold them for like $300 a piece. So made good money on that, and that was.
Are they appreciating because they can mine?
Mm-hmm, yeah, and so these coins or these graphics cards, they couldn't mine Ethereum, but they could mine other altcoins like Ravencoin and stuff like that. But what they ended up being used for is this guy who builds computers on the sides. He's like, I can't get any graphics cards, so I'll pay $300 for halfway decent cards because they weren't bad cards. They're RX 580s, older card, not crazy special, but they'll run a couple of games for you. If you're building computers on the side, it's still decent value, you know.
Dang.
So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was pretty nuts to pay $1,200 to buy a couple of them and sell it for more than that. You know, you're like,
Yeah.
oh shoot, this is weird.
Electronics appreciating? Excuse me?
Yeah, it's bonkers because I mean I've been building computers for years now, and it's always like you buy a computer, the next year it's lost half its value, if not more than that. And you're like, dang it. Well, that's the nature of computers. Now it's like I could sell both my graphics cards for more than I bought my entire computer for. Like, it's nuts.
Dang.
Yeah, it doesn't even make any sense.
That's freaking cool, though.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I just wish I'd bought more because I really thought about buying a 3070 when they were first coming out. Like, no, my 2070 is good enough. I'll just stick with what I got, and then like that, they're all gone, sold out. Can't get them. Like I've been trying to watch different YouTube channels where they'll do giveaways or they'll do things like Linus Tech Tips. I don't know if you guys seen any of his stuff, but he's pretty big tech tuber or whatever the heck they call him. But he does this thing where he calls it a verified actual gamer. So every now and then in his videos, if you get it within the first like 5-10 minutes, he'll put in a snippet of him talking over the video saying, hey, we're doing this, or we're doing a drop. Go to our website / the type of graphics card it is, the manufacturer, and a few other specs about it. Then when you get into there, you have to do a 25-question quiz, and you get 3 lives, and you can restart the quiz however many times you want, but you got to do it before somebody else wins. And they're difficult questions about video games that I have no idea about. So I'm not a huge gamer. Like I like to game on the side every now and then, but it's like how many Call of Duties have come out? Like yes, all of them. I don't know. Like so many.
530.
Yeah, who's
Star
counting?
Wars.
Yeah, and it was a bunch of questions like that. That's like, shoot, I don't know the answers to those questions. I could probably look it up, but I was at work and I didn't really want that graphics card. So I was like, oh dang, that's way more intense than I thought it would be. And then
So how much more Ethereum could you mine with a 3070 versus your 2070? Do you know?
I don't know on 3070 because I don't have one of those, but my 3060 and my 2070 are about 6s. So
Okay.
and their hash rates are about 41 right now. So if I had a 3070, I could potentially do more. But the 3070 was like really good, and 3080 is better, but 3080 is more power hungry, so you're going to be using a lot more power to mine. But my brother has, I think, 7 or 8 1080s, so they're even older, and he's making like $1,600 right now with the price of Ethereum a month. So
Dang.
that's $1,600 a month, and I don't know what his electrical costs are on top of that, but
Yeah.
from what I've seen, even just my couple $100 that I'm getting easily pay for my electricity and my solar bill and have profit. So I'm just like, whatever, just keep
Keep buying them up.
yeah, if I could, heck, the Newegg does a thing where they call it a Newegg shuffle, where roughly every day they'll say, oh, you can put in basically a raffle to get the chance to buy one of these at MSRP. It's like you got to ask for, you got to hopefully win a raffle to buy something for the regular price or get scalped on eBay.
Jeez.
It's bonkers.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that was going on.
Oh yeah, dude, it's
Whole underground world.
it's basically like lumber. Same
Boy.
thing.
Everything.
So the secret is to just buy a bunch of mining equipment when the bull cycle ends.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
just mine for years until...
Yeah, but I don't know. To me, this one seems different to me, and this is just my theorizing because everybody missed out on Bitcoin last time, and then they're like, oh, I don't know if it'll come back, and then it came back stronger than everyone. So now people are like, wait a minute, I don't think this is going away, especially with what the dollar's doing with printing so much. I don't know how much people are going to be wanting to get rid. I mean, there's going to be some people getting rid of their stuff and selling it off and all that, trying to sell it off in the bull cycle to where they don't lose money on the bear cycle. But if you can buy it during the bear cycle and just mine, and you'll probably lose money on electricity if you even have a harsh bear cycle. I'm not super confident they will because everyone wants cryptocurrencies now. Regardless of whether or not they're worth it to do, whether or not they have a ton of value, everyone sees it as being valuable. So it's worth it to have now.
So I've had the same thought that it may not be as severe, the bear cycle, as it has been, because we have so much adoption now. Banks are accepting it. Businesses are accepting it. All these different things. All these billionaires are starting to play with it. So it's becoming a real thing. However, there is the fact of government regulation outside of their currency systems. Like, there's no way in hell they're going to accept that unless they already own a ton of cryptocurrencies.
It's true.
Which is possible. They could have bought a bunch just in case and Now they can regulate it any way they want, especially with centralized currencies. But these decentralized ones that are coming out, there's going to be some governmental backlash. I mean, just recently we had India. None of it, we're getting rid of everything. You can't have it.
Yeah, and like they say none of it, but how much can they really control? I don't know.
They can't. Not if you have a VPN and you can just play around like that. I mean,
yeah. Well, even if you don't have a VPN, I don't know how well they're like. I know China has their internet wall or whatever like that. So I wonder how much of India's block stuff. Like what does India have set up a cryptocurrency wall, or how does that?
It would be.
I have no idea how it works.
Yeah, it would be darn nigh impossible from what I understand.
Theoretically, I think, but I don't know enough about the blockchain stuff. I should, but I don't.
I heard India, once they just said they were going to block cryptos, they had like a big push of like millions of dollars of bought, like within minutes, people buying more and more cryptos.
I believe it probably hold on to it when they couldn't get
Something
it.
like that.
Because as soon as you can't get it, it becomes scarce and then it becomes valuable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wonder what do you think might happen that way? Because any time in the past when there were multiple currencies and then we'll take the U.S. as an example, they would just create their own and they say, okay, everything else is illegal and you have to accept this one.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, are they going to do that in the crypto world? I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised
if they created a crypto and said everything else is
well, they have a
off
USD
limits.
coin, right?
Yeah, they have USDT, but was
Yeah.
that government created or was it just created?
No,
around
USDT
the $1?
is USD Tether, and then there's the USD coin, I think, USDC. I can't quite remember.
okay.
But I thought there's Tether and there's the other one. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know. I don't know what'll happen with that, but it'll be interesting to see. I don't think they could, especially in the U.S., I don't think they could fully make it illegal because we do have some freedoms here, even though they are getting chipped away at pretty severely.
I've seen lashback in the other direction, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
And with the cryptocurrencies, it's gonna be crazy.
Lashback?
Yeah.
Backlash?
Thank you.
Like,
I mean,
I just totally went with it. I was like, yeah, lashback. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. I'm way more of the freedom minded though. Of like the government can say their own thing. They can sit on that pedestal. Joe Biden can sit there and say, "Oh, I'm going to tell the people to do this." They can maybe by July 4th they can go out and have no masks or whatever. Like, whatever, dude. I'll just 3D print a gun and tell it FO. Like, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
The ghost guns are illegal now.
No, they're not.
Really?
So in my grab bag, I didn't bring full guns, unfortunately. I didn't want to bring a whole barrel because it take a lot of time to move over. But let's see. All right, so this is my first ghost gun, but it is legal for me to own and operate because I don't have any felony charges or anything crazy like that. This is just AR-15 that I milled out using
That's beautiful.
a drill press, so it wasn't anything crazy. I absolutely botched it, and it was terrible, but it shot just fine once I made some modifications to it to shoot normally. But yeah, it shoots just like a full AR-15 would, nothing crazy. So the mag well was already completely empty, and then it comes with a jig that you just mill it out and everything. They say to have a whole mill. I just had a drill press and went for it. And you can definitely tell it was the first time I've ever milled anything. But
That's cool, though.
yeah, it was pretty freaking fun to do, especially shooting it. The first time was scary. Like,
Is it gonna blow up?
yeah, pretty much. But it works great, and that was just something that I bought, shipped to my house, and I went and milled it out. That's it. And I bought all the other parts. I own guns where I've bought them and they've done a background check and stuff before.
Sure.
No problem there. But I can do this whenever I want. But now I have 2 3D printers, and it's a lot easier.
That's not.
I thought they just passed something though.
No, they're trying to. Last I saw, they were trying to pass stuff, but as far as Utah goes, right now it is completely legal to
Sure, yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
And here's the one I 3D printed.
beautiful.
I haven't shot this one yet, but I have a sneaking suspicion it'll shoot a lot better than this one did, because it's a lot tighter. The tolerances aren't nearly as bad. I screwed up on the side there. You can see on the right side where it looks like it's kind of broken on the firing.
That's
Yeah,
so cool.
That whole thing's 3D printed.
No, not the whole thing. Just the AR-15 lower, the regulated, the ATF regulated part. That's 3D printed.
Yeah, it's too bad you're going to lose all these in a boat crash after the podcast.
Yeah, I know it happens. Now this is fully 3D printed. So This is not a gun. This does not have a firing pin. It is complete inert. There's nothing that would shoot in this unless I put a firing pin in it, which would just be a modified nail, cut shorter and stuff. This one is called the Liberator. It's the first fully 3D printed gun that they designed and put online. I printed it on my old 3D printer that kind of sucks. I don't know if anyone remembers my dad's 3D printer. I don't know if you ever saw it, but it was sucky. So this one is fully 3D printed though. It would shoot if I had a firing pin in there, and it was designed to do 380 auto, but this one was designed as a 22 instead.
That's freaking
So
Dang. And that barrel and everything would withstand.
at least a 22. I didn't do it full 100% infill, so I wouldn't try and put anything bigger than a 22 short in there.
Right.
But that's what I'm into.
That's
I really
so cool.
That's the future right
I
there.
would really love to look
Damn.
into getting like trying to become an FFL and stuff and sell these, but I think the laws are going to fight me, and kind of, these are other people's files that I'd have to ask them permission to sell and stuff like that. But I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, that's pretty dang cool.
Crazy. That's insane.
Are they expensive to 3D print?
No, it's super cheap.
Really?
So it's that one. I don't know how much money it would have cost me, but I didn't do it full infill, which full infill is going to cost a bit more. But I'm working on another gun. I was really hoping to have the frame printed, but it's a 40-hour print, and I started it yesterday at 8, so it's just not. It's like halfway done now. Oh dang! I was hoping to have at least the frame to show you guys. Oh yeah, go nuts, dude. You can find pictures of the Liberator anywhere. And honestly, that's a super garbage print. Like, I hated how that printed because it's printed on an old printer that I don't love.
That's the only one we'll take a picture of.
This
It's here.
is my next print that I'm doing. You guys remember the Maverick Nerf Gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is kind of the same style, where each chamber is its own barrel as well. So you have 6 shots, and it's just 22 short. This one's fully. I'm doing this on my new printer. I bought completely new materials for it and everything. So if you want to shoot it, you got to pull it all the way back. It'll click, and then you kind of have to pull the trigger pretty fast.
Seems like these are
it's a
pretty
cruddy
darn
print.
solid too.
So you gotta want the trigger. Oh, did you break it?
Oh,
Nice. It's all good. It's just for looks. I don't really care.
That is so cool.
Yeah. The material I printed this on wasn't great, and the guy who designed it, for setting out to build a fully 3D printed gun, he made some idiot mistakes. Like, looking at it, like, dude, I hardly know anything about 3D printing and designing for 3D printing, but he made some of the trigger really hard to print just because I don't know, the structure of the model just kind of looked stupid. So, but yeah, that one I'm way excited to print. I'll have to send you guys some pictures when I'm done with it, because I bought some new filament just for it, and they have another one that I want to print. It's called the I don't know. Can you guys swear on your podcast?
Oh, yeah, go for
It's
it.
called the Fuck Gun Control 9mm, and you'll build it all out of 3D printed parts and parts you buy from Home Depot. You create the barrel and the rifling and stuff at home with electrochemical machining. And all the videos I saw, they're like, it's super, super easy. It sounds way complicated. I swear it's not. Put it, run some water through it, run some electricity. It's actually super easy. It just sounds way complicated. I'm like, I don't know. It sounds way complicated, but I want to try that one too. This would be fun. But
Yeah, you'll have to.
You came past the
Let us
dragon
know.
head.
yeah. You guys want to check
take a
out the
picture
dragon?
of that.
So
Yeah.
this one, obviously, my wife 3D modeled. I printed, and then she painted it. That one was, it like within a day, she just designed it up. It was way cool.
We'll definitely be grabbing a picture of this one too, if that's okay.
Oh, heck yeah, dude.
Yep.
There's-
Post that. That is sick.
That is
Some of the cool stuff you can do with 3D printing, eh?
Yeah, I love it. I love just tinkering around on the 3D printer, I wish I could make money from it, because it gets expensive,
Oh yeah.
trying to.
So why can't you?
Yeah, was
I
gonna
can.
say,
It's just
sure.
there's been a few hiccups. Like I've talked to some people. Like, I don't know, our Uncle Jeff. He has some companies, some food businesses or whatever. I don't know if you've been to. What is his other one? What was it? The Thai restaurant that he has, right?
Yeah, it's foreign food.
Yeah, foreign food. He has a boba tea one, or bubble tea. I don't know
Boba?
boba. I don't know, with the tapioca pearls in it. You guys ever had those?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
boba.
Yeah, boba.
Boba.
Anyway, he has one there, and he had a machine that would put the plastic wrap up top, and then you just stab a hole in it and drink it with your straw or whatever. But one of the sides didn't have a gear to it, so I designed and 3D printed him a gear and attached it to it so that the other side would take the remaining plastic and wrap it up in a circle and stuff. But didn't make any money off of that one because I told him, like, nah, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I don't know, tell people that I can do this, and hopefully I can make money from it eventually. I also had another like wall decor stuff that I was going to try and do. That one would have been way cool. So my brother was like, oh, dude, I'll take it and I'll sell it and everything like that. And then he got too busy and never did. So spent hours and hours and tons of print because it's a difficult print because it's tall and skinny and it wobbles a lot. So if you don't get it just right, it'll wobble and then it has ripples in it. It just doesn't look very good as wall art. But I'll pull up some pictures of it so you guys can see kind of what it looks like. I thought it was cool, but hard to sell as I'm not very good at wanting to sell things. It's just kind of not my. You can kind of scroll through there, but
Do you have to do it by hand, like the 3D print, or do you just put in a program and it makes it?
oh yeah, I have two 3D printers that just
those
lay
are
it down
way
for
cool.
me.
Okay.
Yeah, they
that's
look
cool.
pretty nice. They're modern. They look slick. One of the pictures is the one that my brother put on his wall. So
Yeah, I think they look way good.
yeah, it's just a matter of getting people to pay for them at a price that makes sense, you know. But I spent way longer than you'd imagine testing it because trying to make it easier on myself, printed it down, printed it up, eventually got that looking pretty good, but just didn't look quite what I wanted to. And so then I stood it up and printed that and got way better looking prints, but the top would always curve off to the side. So I'd tweak it and test it and just keep going back and forth for hours and on end. You'd like, okay, tweak it, but then you're at the end of your filament. And at the end of your filament, sometimes you need to raise the temperature because it's absorbed moisture through the air. So then it's different settings almost towards the end of your filament. Like, wow, what the frick's going on? You don't learn that till you do it. So,
So
I kind of
practically,
want these.
dude, they're slick.
Pretty cool.
One of the pictures there is one that my brother put on his wall in his studio where he records his music, and it looks slick. Like it looks way nice. I walked
Yeah.
into his house, like, oh shit, that's cool. I love that.
so practically, how much do these 3D printers cost?
Way cheap nowadays, dude. They're like,
Really? Because I know they were very expensive for a long time.
yeah. So back a couple years ago, I got my dad's old one, and he spent like $800 on it, and it was pretty costly. But it has two extruders. It can do multiple different materials. It's a little bit different, but it's older. It kind of sucks to work with. I need to tweak it again. The bed's warped. There's a bunch of issues with it that I could totally fix, and it'd be a really nice printer. But the next 3D printer I got, which is a copy of one called the Creality Ender 3 V2 or something like that, and the printer I got, so the Creality is like, or the Ender Pro, or Ender V2, or whatever the heck it's called. That one is like $200-$300 or something like that, which is way cheaper. Mm-hmm. The one I got is like right now for $180, $178. I got it through like a Amazon thing where you go and put a good review on it and you get all your money back. So I got it for $8, but
Okay.
I would absolutely 5-star recommend that one, regardless of what I got paid back. Because even at $180, it's super worth it. Like if you're wanting to get into 3D printing, it's super freaking easy. There are a few downsides to that one where you can't easily hook up like a filament runout sensor, so you know when it runs out of filament, so it doesn't just keep printing. And you can't easily set up a automatic bed leveling thing, which the bed leveling isn't that big of a deal. Once you figure out how to bed level, it's not too bad. And if you're not quite there, just throw some glue stick down and you're solid. And the filament sensor, that one does suck. It's like super annoying to not have, but I've never had it, so I don't know how cool it would be to have it, but it would probably be pretty nice because, man, when you're doing a 24-hour print or something like that and you go downstairs and you look and it's like a third of the way done and it's just printing in midair with no filament there. No. It sucks so bad.
And you have to restart the entire print at that point, don't you?
Yeah.
Because you can't like go back at, like a video and go to a third of the way through the
You kind of
program.
can. So I've done it once before, but I ended up, the filament, for whatever reason, because it was on my dad's old 3D printer, the filament wouldn't grab. So I went back and found roughly the layer, because you can measure it by millimeters and stuff like that, and then you can put it in your program, say, hey, start printing this high up. And I got it, like, it was darn close. And I was like, for this print, this will actually work just fine. But the filament wouldn't grab, so it ended up going around a couple of times before I noticed it wasn't grabbing. And then it grabbed and put down and stuff, so it was like halfway on there, halfway not. Like, fudge, this sucks. So it was sucky.
Basically, the layer you started printing again wouldn't stick to the bottom layer, I guess.
Yeah, so the top layer where it ran out of filament, I went and told it, okay, start just a little bit above that so I don't crash the head and break into that part. And it should kind of lay it down and be close enough to get me there. And I thought it was going, and a lot of it's hard because I'm also trying to watch a baby while trying to 3D print most of the time, especially back then. So it's trying to lay down some filament, and it's not grabbing, or it's grabbing some or under extruding real hard. So it's grabbing some of my filament and laying down so it's sticking, but then it's going up and it's just weaker and weaker. And then by the time you notice it, you're this far up, and it's stuck on there, so you're not getting it off unless you completely take off the part and break it and stuff like that. But it's not a good part, so the part is ruined. So that sucked. But there are people who can do it. It's just kind of the chances of you getting a good print are very minimal after you do that. But
Have you messed with resin printers at all?
no, I want to. I know a lot of our
got one and it's
cool. I want to, but I don't have a good setup for it because the resin you don't want on your hands. You will got to clean it, so you have to have a little bit bigger of a area to do it. Right? I've never seen someone with it, so I don't.
It's this
Yeah,
big.
no,
It's cool.
I've seen the resin printers. They're small, but do they have a decent space for it? I've never really.
So Gordon's got one, and he just does it in his front room, as far as I know.
Hmm.
Because he said, Torin was saying, as far as he knows, it smells bad, but it's not toxic.
Yeah, it's
And
toxic
then-
to get on your hands, from what I've heard, but it might
Yeah.
depend on the resin. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, Tor said that's what it was, but you just, to clean it, you just put it in rubbing alcohol, and
Yeah.
it rubs it all off. And, I mean, he uses something pretty small, like a small bowl.
Yeah,
So
and
he
then
doesn't use a whole ton of room.
yeah, that's true. And then you got to get a curing chamber, or you leave it out in the sun. I've heard people doing so.
Tor said he's got a little. It's like something you get from figurines that spins. And
Oh,
you
yeah?
Set up just a UV light and it spins, and it cures it in a couple minutes.
That's perfect. My wife really wants one. Obviously, from the Dragon, she wants to do cooler stuff like that. That's higher quality. For what I want to do, guns and stuff, resin printing isn't the best, but I would love a resin printer. I just need more space in my house.
Yeah, they're
So,
cool.
yeah, I'd love to have a 3D printer farm and just have multiple different 3D printers going and printing me different stuff. Because like even the stuff in the 3D printed gun community right now is bonkers. Like they have one where they have it's like a bucket on the chest, and they can retrofit it to fit on the back. But while they're testing it, it's just on the chest. You can pour in bullets, just whatever caliber you're using. And then it has a little belt that feeds up to, and you attach it to your magazine. So that way you're not attaching it directly to the gun, just whatever magazine. So you can reprint the attachment to the magazines and use whatever magazines you want. And it filters the bullets and puts it in. So you have a automatic machine gun, or not automatic, but you have a machine gun size capacity of bullets, because you just have a hookup to your firearm or to your magazine.
That's
Then-
pretty cool.
That's really
Yeah.
insane. Yeah.
Then like you can make AR-15s and Glocks. You can 3D print a part to make them fully automatic. That is, however, super illegal. The ATF will come knocking down your door, and they won't be happy with you at all. So that was a 20 plus years in prison piece of plastic that I owned for a while. I printed out like 5 of them, and they're all destroyed now. Full disclosure, if the ATFs listen, they're all gone. They're all destroyed. I made sure to break them all, but they were pretty cool. It's just a little piece because I printed out 5 because I wanted to know how long it would take to just do a couple of them, and took I don't know, like 10 minutes to do a bunch of them. So I was like, you could just print, and just have tons of them, and they dropped, and I put it in my AR-15. Promptly destroyed it after, but put it in your AR-15. You're like, oh yeah, you look up the videos on how it works, and it just doesn't let the hammer go all the way back, so it flings it forward and just goes, and it's way better than like a bump stock or something like that. Though completely useless. If you ever had seen the price of ammo, you don't want to be shooting those fully automatic, dude. There's no way.
Nah, you want accuracy.
Yeah. Quality over quantity, right? But it's cool to know that you can just print that. Though, like I said, super illegal. There was a dude who had a metal card that just had the drawings, and if you cut those drawings out and put them together, it would accomplish the same thing. It would be and you could put it in your AR-15 and make it fully automatic. He had the metal card with the drawings, and he sold it online as just art. There's no cutouts or anything like that, and the ATF broke down his door, came in, and arrested him and stuff like that. So
Dang.
pretty bonkers. Well, you
Yeah.
got to be careful with the ATF. They don't like you, that's for sure. They want your guns.
No thanks.
Yeah, I don't like them, but
3D printers are not toys.
yeah. Well, and that's
They
the thing.
kinda
Like, you can say, the ATF can try and regulate it, but how do you regulate a 3D printer?
Yeah.
The only recourse you have is trying to regulate the files. Like the guy who designed the Liberator, he got into some hot water because he may or may not have had sexual relations with a minor. Unfortunately, like like I said, the dude definitely had some issues because the way he designed the gun, I just didn't like. Way cool that he did it, but the ability to print was just not there. But it was also the early times with 3D printing getting popular. So, but yeah. Anyway, I think the ATF probably. My assumption is he unfortunately got way too close to a miner, and then the ATF probably blew it out of the water. Though don't do things with minors. It's a bad idea. Minor being like a couple years younger than a year or two younger than 18.
Yeah.
Still minor though. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So speaking of your household, you purchased that just a little bit ago, and I
Yeah.
imagine you're quite happy with the equity at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Have you been able to refinance or do anything that way?
I refinanced and dropped a whole percentage. That was sweet, and I probably could have dropped more if I waited, but I wanted to refinance then to get my payment down a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I didn't reappraise because when I refinanced, I was only in it a year, and I was like, if I reappraise, the equity in my house isn't going to be enough to knock off MIP because you got to have 20%.
Right.
So I was going to wait. And turns out I have to wait 2 years anyway. So now like in June or July, I can finally reappraise and knock off my MIP because I guarantee the value of my house is way more than what it really even is worth. But people pay for it. So
the question is, when you have it reappraised, are you going to try to maybe sell it for that profit? Or are you going to try to use the equity?
Only if I was planning on like moving somewhere, but you can't really move anywhere, like houses are too expensive. So unless I go out to like Tooele or somewhere where I don't want to live, it's further out than I wanted. I don't know. I could go with the whole exodus with all the Jews out in Missouri.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I don't plan on doing that, but it is definitely something that looks compelling when you see all that money in it. Because by time I'd be able to buy a house, the market probably would have crashed anyway. So. Because like this can't last forever. I don't know how long it will last. When I bought my house, people were saying it was going to crash, and 2 years later, it's still going. So it's like it could seemingly go on forever. Who knows? But I don't know. It's a crazy one for sure.
Yeah,
I'm definitely happy I got in when I did.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good now. That's awesome. And then while we're talking about kind of your financials, do you do anything special other than what we've talked about financially to ensure like your success and longevity?
So I have a Roth IRA as my kind of like, if all else fails and I really make a fool of myself, that this should hold my family over, but in the future.
Your backup fund.
Yeah, that's like my backup to my backup is Roth IRA. It's not going to have enough money by the time I retire to be way cool. It should have X amount of million, but that really doesn't help you. And who's to say it will have that value? Government stuff. I do have a insurance, whole life insurance from your dad and stuff like that. So I've been on that train, but I shot myself in the foot because when I'd heard about life insurance stuff, I thought they were all kind of like that. I didn't realize there were multiple different kinds. And I got set up with a different company because I didn't think about it. My wife was like, we need life insurance. We need life insurance. We need life insurance. Like, okay. And somebody was like, oh, hey, go through this company that, works with my company and they're awesome and blah, blah, blah. So we signed up with them and just years of just kind of trying to ignore it at that point and paying them, not a ton of money. It was super cheap, but paying them for years and being like, this is stupid. What the heck are we doing? We don't have any value in here. This is way dumb. Finally, just talked to your dad, got it all sorted out. Now we're building value finally, but it took me way too long to just cut that thing off. It sucked so bad.
Well, if you're doing term life insurance, that can be great.
No, it was a whole life policy. It just didn't build up like your.
Was it a universal whole life or just not structured the same way?
It just wasn't structured. It was structured as like, when you die, you get X amount of money for whole life, and you're like, but it's not building any value that I can use when it has a lot of value. Like these ones where it's really compelling, where you can take money out or not take it out, but you can borrow take a loan against yourself and all that stuff and use it, and that's way nice because I can see my Roth IRA building up. It's like it's just about 10 grand right now, which is cool, but you're like, can't use it. It's just garbage money sitting there until I'm 56 and a half or something.
Want to pay 10 or more %.
Yeah, not really worth it. So it's kind of just sitting there and really kicking myself in the butt. 'Cause when I decided to do the insurance the first time, I talked to my brother who has a good whole life policy through your dad and everything, where he's like, oh yeah, I used that money to pay for building the fence and then I just paid myself back and it worked out perfectly. Like, oh sweet, get one signed up and like trying to watch for that. Thought that I asked the right questions, thinking that I was doing it all right. And then eventually he's like, I know I didn't do that right, but I'm kind of in it, so I'm just gonna ignore it and try and make it so I can afford another policy too, and I'll just leave that one running. Eventually, it's like I can afford another policy, and I could probably afford to keep this one running, or I could just cut that one off and put more money into the good one,
Yeah.
So I focused more on building my own ability to make money rather than doing side stuff or like doing all that. So I focused on my main, your biggest asset is yourself. So that's what I more focused on to try and build my own. But yeah, that whole life insurance thing just pissed me off so bad.
Yeah, understandable.
But luckily, I got it sorted out now, and obviously your dad doing it was great, so it was nice. Nice to have that all sorted
there's
out.
a bunch of them out there where you will get burned in the end, even if you're not making cash value. Like the universal whole life, they shoot up and then right back down. It's
When I was doing it, I had, haphazardly mentioned it to someone in our family, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I do the one you're talking about where it
universal
shoots up.
whole life,
universal whole life, and it's so cool, and it does all this stuff." And I was
cash value grows way faster.
And I was thinking about it, like, that doesn't sound real, It smells like shit to me, but whatever, you do you and stuff. And they're like, "No, I do all this stuff on the side," and like, yeah, I've already been warned not to ever take your advice when it comes to financials. I don't care what you do on the side, I'm out. So, ended up obviously not doing that, but I did talk to your dad about it. It's like, I'm just curious. I don't want to do it, and I'm not taking their advice. What's up? I'm like, oh, okay, this is this. These are the differences. This one shoots up, eats itself alive. This other one just keeps going, So
yeah.
So that was solid.
Slow and steady.
Yeah.
Wins the race. Yeah, we always recommend for people to get whole life. I think you're one of our first people on that had a whole life policy.
I think the first.
Yeah.
At least
Sounds
to our
right.
I
dad.
think the first, yeah.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
haven't.
Well, yeah,
we
you
haven't
had your
asked
dad
her
on.
Yes, either. Yeah, we had our dad on.
Yeah.
And he has a whole life only because he was able to convert his term.
Yeah, because otherwise he wouldn't be able to have it.
Yep,
He's told
exactly.
me that. Yeah.
With his cancer fiasco.
Yeah. What a fiasco.
I think he's insurable after 50 or 60 something.
Yeah.
Then they said, come back and we'll think about it.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised. Like, luckily, they're not going to look into my wife's family because, it doesn't really matter and it wouldn't change the outcome. But my wife's family has a 33% mortality rate, which is not good at all. So, pretty brutal. That's pretty high numbers for a family of like all the kids. I think 9 or 10 kids, maybe 11 if you're counting, the other side.
Fair enough.
So pretty bonkers. Like, yeah, don't look at that side of the family. Just look at mine. We're all alive. We're all doing
healthy
good
over here.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Do you budget and everything, or?
I used to budget a bit. We had like envelopes and everything that we were putting money into, and that kind of got unruly and just kind of sucky to like, wait a minute, but
It's hard when you have cash envelopes.
yeah, it was harder, and because everywhere I read was like, oh, do cash. You won't see the value in credits. But like, no, I grew up in a world where everything's digital, so it totally makes more sense to do the digital everything for me. So relatively recently, within the past couple of months, I've taken an Excel spreadsheet and put in all my costs. I haven't started like a hard budget, but I'm like, okay, it's like when you're doing calories. You don't start out doing like I'm doing a set amount of calories. You find
just
out
count what you got.
Yeah, you find out how much you have over the course of a week or so. I'm just doing that with my finances, finding out what I have, where I'm going, and a lot of it sucks because like I took a trip out to Missouri, so that was $1,000 in plane tickets, and then you're not getting paid for that week because my PTO system at work sucks, and then you go out and you get you spend a bunch of money there because you're over there having fun. You come back, you get that paycheck, and it's like, okay, well, I can't really count this month in my calculations because I'm not going to go to Missouri every month or every other month. I'm very rarely going to go fly out there. So that's kind of where my finances and stuff went.
Well, just so you know, I don't know if you've heard it on the podcast, but we use an app called You Need a Budget, YNAB for short. It costs, I think, $87 a year.
It's not bad.
Saves me more than that in a month,
Yeah.
It does good.
Well, my problem with those is I just don't know if I'd stick to them. I just kind of ignore it and like, you know what? I'll just make more money. Yeah. That hasn't gone well in the past year, but
yeah, and I've tried that. I've tried it where I like link it to my bank account and then it automatically does it. I did not do that this time. What I do instead is I manually enter everything that I spend, and that's actually helped me stick to the budget a lot better.
And that's what I'm hoping with the one Excel spreadsheet I have, because it's just a basic Excel spreadsheet. It doesn't track it super down, dead nuts on everything, but I will every now and then take my credit card because I basically do everything through a credit card and pay it off immediately. I don't wait till the end of the month or anything. I've just always just paid it off like the day after almost. And I'll sit down with my wife and go, okay, this is how much we spent on food. This is how much we did on this. This is how much we did on this. This is where all our finances go. And she goes, oh shit, that's a lot of money to spend on stuff like that. Like yeah, we can slow it down. So luckily we slowed down a lot on our different spending to try and save more, but it's not like we're like, oh, trying to tighten our belts real tight. It's just, we don't actually need any of that. Like, we don't need to go eat out every week, but she comes from a family that eats out a lot more than my family does. So it was real weird first little bit. We're eating out just constantly. Like, this is weird. Like, I don't know about this, especially once COVID hit. We DoorDashed a crap ton of food. Like, just
and that gets so expensive.
it gets costly. But we justified it as like, well, we're trying to help them out because I still have a job that's paying. They don't, we'll try and help them out a bit. And I'm sure it helped a very, very small amount, but it just got too costly. So I'm like, can't keep that up forever. So stop it. But
fair enough.
yeah,
It gets freaking expensive.
DoorDash is pricey.
yeah. DoorDash is pricey, but Grubhub was worse. They were way more expensive. I don't know about way more, but they were more expensive for sure.
Both IPOs did freaking good though.
Yeah. Well, they're making tons of money in that and Uber
Yeah.
Eats and stuff, and crazy. Those ones that just take other people's assets and kind of pool them together to do something, like Uber Eats, Postmates, and all, DoorDash and Grubhub and all those other ones. Pretty nuts. Or like Toro. I don't know if you guys seen that one. Basically, you can rent someone's car. So like,
I have seen
yeah,
that.
I'm too young to rent a car, but I'm pretty sure I can rent a car off Toro. I don't know. I've never tried it, but
I was actually I looked into it to try to rent out my own car because I wouldn't use it ever, and it just didn't work out. I would have had to buy special commercial insurance and all sorts of stuff. I'm like,
yeah. I don't know. It was cool
then-
though. It's just like people using other people's assets.
Yeah.
They're not doing them.
genius.
So, yeah, I love it.
build a tech company around other people's assets.
Yeah, it's just a matter of
Fantastic.
like what one's next. I remember seeing that when Uber came out, and because Airbnb and Uber, and I was like, wonder what the next one is. And then DoorDash and stuff came out. Like, dang, if I could only think about what the next one is. But
Yeah.
DoorDash and stuff like that, and Grubhub, I don't know which one. Maybe it's Postmates, but they've been working for years. Just they only got big a couple of years ago. But they've been working in like East Coast or West Coast, one of them, for a long time before they got really big and hit on the regular market. So for the longest time, I was thinking like, oh man, these companies just like, boom, someone has an idea and it shoots up. But no, they've been working for a long time, trying to get things right, trying to work at it forever. Just
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at their financials as a company. The most recent one of those that had an IPO, I think it was Uber Eats. And even during the pandemic year, they had negative income. Like, they're not doing good financially, but they're definitely big.
Well, I mean, they operated at a loss, and a lot of those companies do, just like Amazon. Amazon operated at a loss for years and years and years. They might still. Well, no, I don't think so, because they have
Dividends. They do
not-
dividends,
it's
so
not
they
just-
don't operate at a loss, I don't think.
I don't know they do dividends now, but they didn't used to. I don't. They probably
know.
do. I haven't really looked
I
at their
don't have
stock.
any Amazon.
Me neither.
It's too expensive for me.
But for the longest time, they operated at a loss, and they were just basically saying, invest in us, and eventually you'll be worth tons of money. And
Yeah.
they got it right. A lot of their success comes from, what's it called? It's like Amazon. I don't know. It's a bunch of web services that, they shut down Parlor and stuff like that. They wouldn't let them come onto their services, and a few other places that they control a crap ton of the internet. I've used them here and there just to see if they were worth it, but
That's where I published my book, and it's nice.
Yeah, no, they make it so easy. I mean, it's
Yeah.
super easy.
It's the problem with Google and Amazon and Facebook, all these. It's just simple. They know how to do it.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've been doing it for years, but like the side of Amazon that I'm talking about makes a crap ton of their revenue, like way more than most of their selling stuff does. And it's Amazon Web Services. It runs a bunch of back-end stuff, a bunch of IoT devices, which are Internet of Things, devices that, I don't know if you saw it a couple years ago, they had it where you click it and it would order stuff off of Amazon for you.
Yeah.
People would modify those buttons to click and control their house as a smart home stuff. Or then Amazon sold ones for a little bit more that you could program yourself, and just tons of stuff like that. They use Amazon's web services to do things like that because it's cheap. It's a couple cents a click, if that, and you might just pay a little bit more and then, pay for like a couple cents per 1,000 clicks. It's super cheap if you do it, depending on how you scale it and everything like that.
Or even the people who sell on Amazon, you got to pay monthly for that to own those stores.
Yep. And you got to pay to be like the person that shows up. So my dad did a product on Amazon, and someone else through Amazon was taking his product and selling it for cheaper. And he's like, the frick? No. And that's going to eat into my sales. You can't do that. And Amazon, eventually he had to pay Amazon more money to make sure that it wasn't that they were selling it for cheaper. That, when you go on Amazon, you click buy it. but you can say, I want to see it from other sellers.
Yeah.
My dad wasn't the top one on the buy it, so he wasn't, when they clicked buy it, it wasn't going through my dad, the guy who made the product and everything like that. It was going to somebody else. So I don't know. Technically, I think my dad would have ended up making money on anyway because it's selling his product, but it could have been a wholesaler buying it for cheaper from my dad and then selling it on Amazon for the price that my dad was selling it on Amazon. Where if my dad sells on Amazon, he makes more money than he sells to when he sells to wholesalers. Obviously, it's worth it to sell to wholesalers because you actually sell your product. But still, it's pretty interesting that somebody else got that top spot, even though he made the product, he made the listing, he did all that. It's like, wait a minute, this is stupid, you know? So he had to pay Amazon and say, no, I want the top spot.
Be the top seller.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, the Amazon crap was wild. I gave up on it after a minute.
Yeah, people make tons of money on it though.
Yet.
Yeah.
It's the FBA or Amazon FBA.
FBA.
or
What?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
I don't know either.
I do know they've got like storefronts and stuff, and we were paying for a storefront for a month or two
Yeah.
while I was trying to figure it out, and just
I
didn't
don't know.
work
I've never
out.
sold anything on Amazon. Haven't tried my hand on it. I hate selling stuff. I'd rather just make things and just have somebody else sell it for me if I could, but that's super hard to get because that's not where the money is. The money is in selling stuff. So
And fair enough.
yeah, you know, to those people who can do it and do it well, they make tons of money for good reason. But
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people like trying to sell my, I called it Wallygon or whatever, the hexagons I was showing you guys. And I was like, I got to go get an Instagram account and try and post and all this stuff. I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
I've spent hours and hours and hours on R&D on this thing, and I just don't care enough to put that amount of hours into selling it. Just sucky. I need to just, dig down and get it. But
Yeah, fair enough. It's not easy. But maybe we'll talk.
yeah,
Maybe we'll talk.
yeah, maybe.
Awesome. Anything else that you do financially? We've gone over so much.
Yeah. I was gonna
Yeah, I'm pretty much
Got
an
a
open
lot.
book.
It's been fun.
I
It's
love
been
talking
real fun.
about stuff, and I love trying different things. Like I really wish I had capital to buy a house or something like buy another house and rent it out. Especially because if you go off that Tennessee stuff, you don't have to have too much capital. You don't have to have crazy amounts. But
Have you thought about like renting out a room in your house or anything?
I did, but
Doing like an Airbnb?
with a family and a kid and stuff.
I wouldn't want to.
And how my house is set up, it's not worth it. I thought about trying to get a house that had like a good rental space, but even then, it's like I'd rather just have a whole house to myself. It's just, especially with the family, I like it a lot. I've heard, I've heard some really good stories about having renters, and I've heard some horror stories for sure. Like my brother rents out most of his rooms in his house, and to me, it just wasn't worth it. It's not how I like to live my life. We have an extra room that if people come over, they'll stay at and stuff like that. But renting it out just doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah.
Even for the money, it's like I make enough money that I can pay for my house and other things relatively well, and then I can make some financial decisions. Whether or not they're good ones, that's up to me.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of I don't know. It's just a matter of being a little bit smarter with my finances, because I don't make tons and tons of money, but I make enough to pay for everything that I need to pay for, and then have a little bit extra to figure out stuff with. So
Yeah. Heck yeah. Now, one of our favorites on this podcast is silver and gold. Have you played at all in that field?
Not really. So I have very little silver because when we first got our first stimulus checks, I bought some silver with it because my wife's like, oh, we got to get silver and stuff like that. I don't know.
Probably about doubled by now.
Yeah, probably,
That's
but
nice.
I'm not really going to sell it because that's another one. I'd rather have silver than the dollar, so it's not really worth selling. But I don't know. I can never get myself into silver. I know it's a great one that will always be around. Basically, it's tried and true for sure. It's a good investment, I think. But I'd rather play with my money in cryptos or something else, or something like 3D printing these guns. It's illegal to sell them. But if I could figure out a way to relatively legally, or not relatively, but legally build, manufacture, and sell them, I would need a Type 7 FFL and stuff like that. But that to me would be way more fun than investing in like silver or something like that. Because if things do go belly up, people will be buying guns with silver. So if I can figure out how to 3D print them, granted I can't 3D print bullets yet. They are trying though. So
Really?
yeah,
Bullets?
yeah,
That would be impressive.
How would you do that without it getting
So
destroyed?
for the most part, they print.
Probably have to use something denser than like the plastic, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so they usually just print molds and then cast it and stuff like that, but they will. I don't know. I haven't watched the videos on how exactly they do it because they're kind of still in the early stages, but it's pretty cool. These people are dedicated and they want it. They want the freedom to print whatever they want. Like one dude was on the Control Pew was on the Timcast Timcast podcast.
I like Timcast.
Yeah, I like him too. I don't listen to all of his stuff, but I like him. Mm-hmm. And he was on there, and he's like, I don't care who you are, what your political affiliations are. You have the right to 3D print. You have the right to have guns in this country. So I will design stuff, and I'll put it out there for free. Anyone can jump on there and 3D print guns. It's entirely up to you. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican. Don't even care. You have the freedom to do that, and I love that. So
yeah,
I'm way down. Yeah, because you heard about some of the shops. I can't remember what state it was where they would deny people if they voted for Joe Biden. They're like, no, we won't sell to you if you voted for Joe Biden. Yeah, it was pretty funny. The guys mostly did it as a joke because, like, if you go on their site, they'll like, hey, did you vote for Joe Biden? You can say no, and then you can buy it. You know, you don't have to say yes. But if you say yes, it's like, we don't want your money then. So
yeah,
he's like,
I saw some of the Republicans did that where they were selling bullets. Some of the shops, and they're like, if you voted Democrat, then you voted to not have these, and so you don't get them.
Yeah, and it's
kind of thing.
It's exactly that. So that's what Timcast was asking the Control Pew guy. They're like, what, would you do something like that? No, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you got going on. Have it. Like,
shall not be infringed.
Yeah, the guy who I'm pretty sure the guy that designed the first iteration of the FGC 9, the gun control 9mm. Mm-hmm. I think he lives in like somewhere in Europe. I don't know exactly where, but the video I watched, he had a full mask on and everything. He's like, I can't have my identity because it's completely illegal. Yeah. But absolutely, you should be able to have the freedom of speech, and you protect it with your freedom to have guns. And I'm like, heck yeah, dude! Like, I love it. I don't know why I didn't just move over to America because we still have that for now, Yeah. But
yeah, as Dave Chappelle said, the Second Amendment's just in case the first one doesn't work out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't have tons of other financial stuff other than like trying to invest in myself and make myself worth more money to the company I work at currently, you know, and just trying to make.
And you do like techie computer stuff, don't you?
Yeah, so I'm
computer programming.
I'm kind of
stuff.
All of the computer at the place I work at. So I'm all the IT management, the programming, any other techie stuff. I've technically got promoted to team lead. It's basically just a way for other people to be able to bitch at me rather than somebody else. So
right. Perfect.
Not like much came from that.
So
other
happens
than
when you manage.
Yeah, and I don't know. My first management foray didn't go super hot, but I'm still technically the office manager. So it's again just a way for more people to be able to complain to me, and then it's actually nice because then now it's like, oh, you actually have that problem, I can fix it, and then I can go and help them fix it and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of programming, making different systems and different
sounds
things
like pretty essential. That's
I'm definitely essential, but I don't know. I left to Missouri and they did just fine, so it's not like I'm 100% needed to be there all the time, which is nice. Right. So, like I was telling these guys before the podcast started, I get in at like 4:45 to 4:30 and leave around 2. So that's way nice. I know you guys wake up at like around 4 or something like that to go work out.
Yep.
I go work. I go try and make money, but
that's freaking early to be in there. Yeah. What makes you want to do that?
No one's bothering me.
Fair
so
enough.
Nice, dude. You get in there, you get a couple hours where no one can talk to you. You can just sit there and program, because that's usually the time that I get to actually program. Other than that, I'm helping people. We got some people who don't know much about computers and they're trying to click around like, why is this thing not working? Why is this going on? Why is my email not working? Like, okay, I got to figure these different things out. And a lot of it sometimes is very complex problems that I have to solve. Like we don't have a good server, so we don't have a good database, like file management server. So we have just a Windows computer doing it, but you can only have 20 people connected to it at a time. And each new connection stays on there. So even if you disconnect, it stays as, hey, that person's a connection. So you get a small office, and then you have some people in the shop accessing files, easily go over that 20 people limit pretty quick.
Yeah.
So we have to figure it out. Well, how do I accomplish this task of being able to allow more people to connect without spending any money, basically, because we're trying to cut costs as much as possible anywhere we can. So, go on there and have a computer inside the computer that runs off Linux that doesn't have the restrictions of only 20 connections, and have everyone connect to that, and then that connects to the computer.
And it counts as one.
And it counts as one. So you just find this stuff by reading on the internet. There's no way I'd know that on my own, but you do funky stuff like that gets pretty complicated. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but you get in and figure it out, It's just what you got to do to be worth money. Not like I'm worth tons of money, but it's worth money,
Yeah, definitely. That's freaking cool.
Skill.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
the
what do you
internet is
do-
a skill. Anyway, sorry.
Definitely. No, what do you do, say, from the time you get off work to, I mean, when do you go to bed? Like 6? Jesus.
No, I usually get to bed. I don't know. I usually start winding down around 9. Start slowly cleaning up the house a little bit, and getting pajamas on, brushing teeth, and all that, and getting baby to bed and all that stuff. If we're lucky, we'll get baby to bed around 8. So then we kind of just get to hang out for an hour and a half, maybe watch a show or just chill and whatever. But a lot of times we'll get to bed around 10. But I'm very lucky, and I'll pass out once I hit my pillow. I'm gone. So 10 o'clock comes around, and 90% of the time I'm gone. I'm dead to the world. So that's definitely nice. And then waking up at 4 to get all my stuff ready to basically do some jumping jacks to get my heart rate up in the morning, and then go out to work. So
Okay, and you go into the office every day, right? You don't work from home?
No, I have before, and that was pretty nice, but I do a lot of IT management, which is easier to do
In person?
Yeah, in person, because we don't have a great IT structure, so it's hard to kind of clean things up or explain how things work to people over the phone or something. So I don't know. There are times when it's been nice to work from home. Like my wife had a gallbladder issue, so when she got that removed, she couldn't lift anything over than like 10 pounds, and our baby was like 15. So I took care of baby and worked while she was just resting at home. So I did that for a week. It was super convenient to be able to do. Highly recommend being able to do that if you have a job that allows it. But obviously I know that I'm lucky that I have a position where I can do that, work from home for a bit, and then go back in and all right, pick up where I left off. Because all I did was the first day I went in, turned my computer on at work, made sure I was all set up to take it over from home. And it's not the best system to connect. There's definitely way better systems if you're going to do this long term. But I knew I was doing it for 1 week, so I just went home and worked for 1 week and from home. It was nice. It was convenient for sure.
Heck yeah.
Loved it.
Oh yeah,
Freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
What time are we looking at? I'm curious.
8:30.
8:30. All right, so we're doing pretty darn good.
Time.
Yeah, we got time.
Oh, dude, I'll talk your ears off if you let me.
Oh,
Keep
we
going.
will.
we're at
Yeah.
about an hour 18.
Awesome. So I did want to kind of go back a little bit to the silver and gold thing.
Mhm.
So kind of let you know how we view silver and
Okay.
gold. So rather than, because, well, I guess so one could have it as an investment. So we view it as more of a value hold rather than an investment.
Right.
Because I mean, you can throw money at it hoping it's going to go up like anything, but usually the actual reasoning behind it, why you want to throw money at it, is to have it as a backup, as a last resort, as that value hold that keeps up with inflation and potentially gains value, right?
Right.
And you can dollar cost average over the years, all that jazz. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of
I totally see that. Yeah.
yeah, because I used to call it an investment all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I just wanted to give you our perspective on that.
Yeah. Do you guys all have quite a bit in silver and stuff like that?
Not gold,
Quite a bit,
but
but-
silver.
Some.
Yeah.
We like
Ton.
silver a little better. It's got a little more percentage room to grow
Right.
versus
Makes sense.
gold. Yeah.
It's easier to get.
It's just so
Yeah.
fucking
That's a lot
expensive.
Yeah. And that's a hard thing. Like I could
It is.
throw money at that, or I could throw money at more filament to 3D print stuff, and that's what I've been focusing on, because there's different material properties and stuff. So it's like I should have silver as kind of a backup, and I have very, very little silver. Like I got $50 worth of silver 3 years ago, and then I bought maybe $100 or $200 worth of silver when the pandemic first hit, and then that's about all I've got. And like, I know I need to get more.
Yeah.
Definitely something I need to look into, but just haven't really justified that cost, because it's, especially when you have your own house and your own family, it's a lot of like, okay, if I put this money here, I got to realize I can't put it over here. Like if I put it in silver, I can't, replace some, like an electrical panel in my house needs to be replaced, and it's going to cost like $5,000. So I need to save up for that. But if I save up for it and spend it on that, then I can't put it into silver or cryptos or anything like that. But it kind of needs to be done because it's my house. So it's kind of a lot of, well, if I put my money here, then I can't use it there, or like we need to go on vacation. So it's okay. Well, if I put it there, then I can't do, it's a lot of give and take with where my money can go and where it can't go. It's
Yeah, that's hard.
playing tug of war with yourself. And I'm sure you get it. You're at least married, and you guys are all single. I don't know if you guys have girlfriends or anything, but Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry to call you out like that. But it gets hard. It's a lot of how can I do this in the best way to support my family long term in a way that won't screw us over. And granted, I'm young now, so I can make some plays that don't pan out. Like I've made some dumb plays. I bought like 5 broken big flat screen TVs because I thought that I might be able to fix them up and sell them, and I probably could have sold the parts for more than I bought them for, but it was so freaking much work that they're like, well, screw this, and just got rid of them. So that was a lot of money just thrown away. It basically just burned that, and you make some dumb plays, but we're pretty darn young, so we can just,
I still don't like losing money though.
No, it sucks. it absolutely sucks, especially
Every
when
time it makes me sad.
Yeah, you lose a couple $100, like, oh dang, that could have been, a sweet vacation to St. George real quick for me and the wife, and just would have been easy, good time. The wife's happier because she got a vacation out of it, or you could try it on something and lose it. But I don't know.
Now, do you have a hard time explaining it to the wife?
No.
All your finances?
No,
Does
my
she
wife's
get
smarter
bored?
than me.
Oh, yeah? Okay, good.
No.
And does she enjoy listening to all that jazz?
Not really. She'd
invest
rather
in
just
you
sit
and
down
you.
and do art stuff. But she does get into a bit, like when I talk to her about it, she's like, oh yeah, that's cool and all, you keep doing it, because she trusts me 100% on whatever I do, and if I'll talk to her about it just because I usually want a second opinion on things. But yeah, she's usually just would rather just sit down and do art. But she's damn good at it, so yeah, pretty much.
Mine also does art.
Yeah, well, same.
I try to
you
keep
guys,
her updated, but it's like,
you guys were in the same
trust
grade,
you.
weren't you? As my wife.
Yeah.
Some classes or whatever, but as far as like math stuff, Callie's definitely smarter or quicker on her feet with math than I am. But we both still feel bad when we go to her family's house and all her siblings are way fast at math. Like they're snappy, they're quick, they're on top of it, and it's brutal, dude. Sometimes like we're sitting down there talking about an investment we were going to try and do, and like, okay, we all had completely different amounts of money we were going to put in. And they're like, okay, so if it costs this much and you were putting this much in, you were putting this much in, you were putting this much in, okay, so you'd have this percentage, you'd have this percentage, you'd have this percentage, I'd have this percentage, and we'd do this, and we could structure it like this, and like, what? I just got here, I need some help, actually.
I didn't bring my calculator.
Yeah, they're quick, so it's definitely, my wife sometimes feels bad that she's the slower mathematically, but she's, she excels in other places, so it's just depends on what you put your time into. So, like my wife's sister works at loan officer and works at a loan company and stuff like that.
Must take a lot of patience.
Yeah. Anyway, she makes a lot of money and is way quick on her feet, so makes sense.
Heck yeah.
Stupid
cool.
joke.
I'll just drop the mic.
Not inaccurate though.
Well, that's freaking awesome.
What else do you guys do? I know I've been hearing mostly from Noah. What do you guys do? I know.
Nothing.
I talk
Nothing.
the most.
You talk the most?
I enjoy talking.
I think you just know the most about, especially the financial area. I'm kind of the baby. I'm just trying.
Yeah,
different
well,
things.
like
I'm like, all right.
like we said, you spend your time in different things. So like, are you guys spending your time investing in yourselves? I know, like Logan, you wanted to be a firefighter, right?
Yeah,
so
I'll
you're
be
going to the
back
gym a
to
lot.
school
But
soon.
he's been
Hell
spending
yeah.
his time at the gym.
Yeah, I gotta get swole to freaking
so many
Oh,
hours.
he's been doing good.
Yeah.
dope.
Just mostly working on health, trying to
Yeah.
eat healthier and work out, and
I
learn
get
more
it.
about bar and learning a lot about alcohol.
Yeah,
shit like
yeah.
That, so
Eating healthier, more alcohol. I get it. Just kidding.
not drinking
Yeah,
alcohol.
I know.
Learning more
No,
about.
I went to your bar. It was way cool, actually. It was tons of fun.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
It was a
I went
blast.
to your bar before you were a bartender. I need you to have you make me some drinks, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fun.
it would
Jump
be
behind
fun.
there, make me something.
It'd be a good time for sure. But I don't know, dude. I just love the whole investment thing. I'm definitely not as into it as I'd love to be. But every time I get more into it, I'm reading all that stuff. Like, it just isn't my wheelhouse. It's just not for me. I'd rather go dink around on a computer, see if I can't build something. Not really play games, but like try and figure out something I can program or figure out another business I could do. And granted, I've failed on more businesses than I'd like to admit, but I've tried, so that's fun. It's worth it to try.
Yeah, the whole financial world brings me much joy.
Yeah,
I'm a nasty boy with it.
that's good. At least you got something that brings you joy there.
It's fun.
It's hard for like I'll get in lulls where I'll try something and I'll spend tons and tons of times on hours and hours and hours, either programming or 3D printing or something like that, and then it doesn't work out where you wanted it to, or something happens and you just hit a lull where nothing brings me joy. This is all stupid. I hate all of this.
I hate lying in a pillow.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. It gets brutal. Like I've tried when I first got into programming, had an opportunity that if I would have done it, if I would have been able to do it, man, it would have brought me enough money to have not worked my actual job. Like I don't think it would bring me as much money as I'm making now, but it would have brought me close. And then I could have built it up from there, and like from the get-go, it would have brought me quite a bit of money. But it was such beyond my level of programming. Even now, it'd be still hard to do. Mm-hmm. But I was in there's a certain name for it where you know so little about a topic, you think you know a lot.
Oh boy.
So I was like, oh yeah, I know.
I had this chart.
Yeah, so I was like, I know so little about this. I know that if I learn just a little bit more, I'll be able to do this thing. Because I know there's tons to learn, but like I'm getting there. Not even close. No way, dude. I spent hours and hours and hours on that thing. Then it was just devastating when I couldn't get there. Frack. That happened, and that was just brutal. Especially because like there was a lot of money on the table if I could have done it. Man, it sucked. So
Gets frustrating.
Well, yeah, and then like my father-in-law is a programmer, so everyone's like, dude, when are you gonna make some cool stuff like him? Like he has almost more experience programming than I have being a human being. So like, not quite, but it's actually pretty close. So it's some of the stuff he does out at Fash it's next level. I don't know if you deal with his programs at all, Logan. No.
Who is it?
No, Jonah.
Oh no.
Oh, dude. If you work with any of the programs out at Fash at all? No. Some of the stuff he does, like he did one program with Patrick Kelsch before he left. It saved him $13,000 a month on their first iteration of it, and that's not counting in tons and tons of other stuff. So like that saved him, I think, $13,000 on just materials, not
wow.
Excuse me, not how much money it took to pay somebody to go throw all those the scraps away and then have somebody come and empty those garbages. So you guys used to empty your garbages, I think, 2 times a day. Now it's 2 times a week. There's so much savings on that.
Here you go.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Read that. That's the chart you're looking for.
Yeah. It had a certain name, didn't it?
Oh, I don't even
Trust
know.
me, it's complicated. That's where I'm at right now. Trust me, it's complicated. I don't even know. Yep, that's...
Maybe I'll send this to you so you can post it on Insta.
Dude, it's exactly right. And it's funny when you...
TikTok.
I know certain people who still see themselves at the I know everything part, and you're just like, Are you sure? Yeah. It's pretty funny because with people who know that person, I'll talk to them like, well, it's like this chart, and I'll say it because it has a certain name, and they're like, oh yeah, that describes that person entirely. Like that's super accurate. Sucky.
Yeah, that's how I felt with stocks. You make a couple bucks when you first start. You're like, yeah, I know everything, and then you just know nothing.
Lose some money on some swing trades.
Stocks, cryptos, everything. I'm still in the lull. I know nothing. I'm a worm.
Yeah.
And I've done so much. I put in so much time with that. I'm just like,
but the whole 10,000 hours for mastery thing,
Yeah,
for sure.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting this new chapter. Yeah.
Now it's the upswing. All right.
Yeah. No, a new chapter with flight.
Oh, yeah.
School,
yeah. So I remember back in high school you were wanting to do flight, weren't you?
I did.
And then you like dropped off for a bit. I didn't hear anything about it. And now you're going to start back up on Monday?
Yeah. So I did it. I got my actually first rating. I'm a private pilot, technically rated.
Heck yeah.
I can fly night or day. I can fly passengers, all that jazz. And that was about 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Since then, I haven't stepped into a cockpit.
Oh.
So now I'm going back into flight school because back then it got really expensive. There was a lot of equipment of mine that was outdated. I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
Just didn't go well. Wasn't at the correct time in my life, all this jazz. Anyway, so quit then. And then ever since, I can't stop thinking about it. I always have regretted that I stopped. Yep. I've got I wouldn't say the fear of loss, but like if I were to be on my deathbed and not have become a pilot, then I'd be like, crap,
Yeah.
And it
awesome,
it terrifies me to fly. When I'm actually the pilot by myself, knowing my life's in my own hands, that was terrifying for me.
Yep.
But I know if I can get comfortable with it and do it, it was so enjoyable, and it's a skill I want in my life. I want to be able to fly a plane.
That would be slick.
Potentially, I want to be able to fly a helicopter.
Cool.
So,
that would be cool too.
and I know it can make me money, which will be a faster route towards financial freedom.
Yep.
So as long as I keep
Investing
my
in
expenses
yourself,
low,
dude.
Exactly. It is going to be a big investment. My
Yeah,
biggest one
but
yet. Yeah.
It would be badass. I freaking love the fact that you're trying that because
Yeah.
flying planes would be so cool. I don't have any want to do it at all, but I love that you're trying for that. It's so freaking
Maybe I'll
cool.
take you up sometime.
Oh, dude, I'd love
As
that.
soon as I get comfy with it.
As soon as I get enough money to pay you as a private pilot. I know. Have you guys ever heard of this guy used to own? He used to own what those those Lake Powell boats, those big he used to own a bunch
Like
of
a
them.
houseboat
Yeah,
kind of
those
thing?
houseboats, and he'd
Yeah.
rent them out to people. And for his family, instead of driving down to Lake Powell to go there, he lived up here. They just take helicopter flights, just 2 or 3, and just have take the whole family down. That's how he do
cool.
it. That
That would
is
be
legit. That's the way to travel, dude. That's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Fly
so
helicopter.
so
Kobe.
freaking cool. Yeah, you imagine. Yeah, Kobe. Brutal. Yeah, you imagine just freaking getting in a helicopter and flying down to Lake Powell or something like that, dude. Couple hour
So
trip.
cool.
So much better than driving.
Yeah.
But
So that's kind of why I'm doing that, and I'm excited about it. If it ends up that I find another opportunity once that can make me more money, get me to my ultimate goal faster, which is living off of my investments only, right? Then I'll take that. But as for now, that's a great skill I want in life.
well, yeah, and you got
go and get
to
it.
you also have to factor in how much you're gonna like doing what you do. Like
Yeah.
I like working on computers, whether it's IT management or programming. I don't really care all that much. I just like working with computers. And sitting down all day sucks, but you get a stand-up desk and it's not terrible. But being able to do something I really enjoy, like if you really enjoy flight and you get good at it and you're paid
it's
well,
a thrill.
and like you really enjoy working as a bartender, right? I've heard you talk about it a bit. It's awesome. You find something that you really enjoy, and even if you don't thoroughly enjoy your job, you're making good enough money and you don't hate it. It's solid. Like it's the way to go.
And you can do it long term.
Yeah.
It's not super physical or anything.
Well, yeah, and even if it was physical, like if you don't get burnt out to where I've seen people get the efforts. Like why I say my management didn't go super well is because I had somebody who just had the efforts. By the time I was put as technically their manager, they didn't want to work there anymore. They were done. They didn't want to be in that position, but they had to be.
Yeah.
And it was a brutal week or two that I was just trying to get them to not hate their life for the last 2 weeks before we got somebody else trade in. I didn't do great. It sucked. It was brutal.
Well, you got to have someone on board before
For sure.
you can train them and help them along like that.
Yeah, and they were done. They wanted out for sure, and it was just trying to get them to just be like, okay, cool, I'll just do what I need to do for a minute. They were just kind of like, attitude was super piss poor and stuff like that. It sucked because I talked to the owner and I was like, I don't think their work isn't that bad. If we can just get their attitude up, but couldn't do it. So it was sucky. For sure.
Yeah, I definitely understand when a job isn't a good fit for you.
No, I've been there, dude. I got fired / quit from Full Blown. And that sucked because it was not my fit. No, it was not. Like I said, I like computers. Working physical labor sucked.
Yeah.
Especially that physical labor. When I went into the
Full blown's rough.
it wasn't too bad doing the powder coating, and that wasn't too bad. It was like, okay, cool. This is
No, it's running racks, loading racks, oven.
the oven was sucky. Where I was, you'd open the oven and all that hot air would just get sucked into the booth, and you're just like, oh crap, who opened the oven? Frick. But once I went into the sandblasting booth, I was like, oh nope, this is nope, I'm done. That's not for me. I know it's not. Like, we're out of here. And so
Are you in the old shop or the new one?
the old one. So it was. I helped them move some stuff to the new one, and that's when they talked to me into quitting my job and going over there.
Yeah.
And then it just took forever to move over to that new shop. I've checked it out once since then, which is pretty cool because I did some work for them on the side as a programmer.
Yeah.
That didn't end up panning out. Just another one of those things that didn't pan out. But
Dang.
I spent a lot of hours on it, So that sucked. But
And did you only get paid when there was a result?
I
would you have?
I elected to only get paid as in results. So
Which is good.
Yeah, they tell me like, hey, send me how many hours you are. We already agreed to pay you X amount an hour, so send me how many hours you had. And I was like, you know what? You guys didn't end up using the system I built, and I would rather have a good relationship with them to where they say, hey, Dalan's super great. He built a system, but we didn't end up using it. Rather than
use you down the road.
Yeah, and that's
Hopefully.
what I'm hoping for. Something like that, depending on where I'm at. But it did suck to not get paid because I did spend a lot of hours on it, but I learned a lot. I learned a crap ton of trying to do that, and I've even used some of the skills I learned there in my actual job. So it translated over pretty nicely, but it did super suck to get. I think my rate was like $20 more than what or almost $20 more than what my rate is now at my actual job. So I was just like, dang, that would have been like not tons and tons of money, but it would have been pretty nice. Not gonna lie. Yeah, just with the amount of hours I put in, it would have been pretty significant, which would have been sweet. But again, it wasn't worth it to me to charge them, and they're not even using the system I built. Like honestly, that's just more of a blow to my pride that they're not using it. Like no, it's not that. It's like, why didn't I make something better? Why didn't I make something that they were like, we have to use this? It's so good, So that's where I was like, don't even use it. It's not even worth it. It's not good enough to just immediately, we have to use it.
Garbage. We're throwing it
pretty
out.
much. Yeah, that's how I saw it. So
I'll just tear it up over here.
yeah, just throw it all away. Delete.
Erase
delete.
it.
Yeah. No one gets to use it.
Yep.
Yeah. It was fun
yeah.
though. It was good times. And again, it's just one of those things you fail at, you learn, and keep trying. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
because that's ultimately, I know you guys talk about living off your investments and stuff. Ultimately, I'd love to own a business, like small to medium sized business that can pay for stuff like that. Like that's my main goal as an investment, is owning a business that I thoroughly enjoy, whether it's 3D printing or programming or something like that I can sink my teeth into. So
Yeah.
so investments would be cool. Yeah, I'd love to have investments as well, but I would rather have a business than, that succeeds hopefully than other things. So
Oh,
Fair
yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
That's freaking cool. Awesome. Well, I think this is a rather good place to wrap it up. We didn't get around to all the other stuff, but we might be here for a little,
yeah,
quite a bit longer.
we would be.
If we started getting into the rest of it.
We would be for sure. Before you go off, if you guys ever want me on again,
Oh yeah.
I do have that. So I know you guys. This is a mostly spiritual based or financial and spiritual based. So that's where I go spiritually. But anyway, if you ever are curious about,
You read it anime style, back to front.
yeah, it is back to front. It does. I don't know, just has Hebrew in there, which I don't know at all. But anyway, it is
Oh,
cool.
we'll have you on about it.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to talk
Why
about it
don't we
more.
just
I
talk about
know
it?
when I first got started, I got
It's
too
a good
zealous
time.
into it. But anyway,
We've gone a lot through the financial things, and then we can have him on another time about the spiritual side of things. We also did the same
Fair
with
enough.
Eli
Yeah,
last
we need to have
time.
him back.
Eli Jessup.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
nice.
just
I
had him
know you
on,
guys had
talked
him on.
a lot about his
Last week.
Oh yeah.
a lot about his spiritual stuff. We want to have him
Oh,
on,
yeah.
on our Shroom podcast.
Nah, that'd be fun. I don't.
Talk a lot about that
I
spirituality.
love Eli and their family. We all know that we don't agree spiritually at all, but I'm always curious what they're doing. It's tons of fun. We like one time, Kaylee, I walked up and she's talking about stuff, and she's like, "And you don't agree with this at all?" I was like, "You're right, I don't." And she's like, "But anyway, this is us." Like, oh, that's way cool. Like I still get along with everybody. There's no hard feelings whatsoever. So I love that. But
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming on. Is there any social media, anything you want to shout out? Your wife, any art, anything? Just
if
for
you
the
are curious
listeners?
about her art, it's CRK. I think it's just CRK on Instagram. Or no, she got rid of her Instagram because she didn't like that. So she goes on MeWe now. So I think it's just CRK or Calray Jewelry or something. I wish I would have brought a little bit more info on her stuff because it
She's
is
got
pretty
some
cool.
good jewelry. She made one for my wife.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, she's still
She
liking it
loves
at all?
Yeah, I don't know that she wears it because she doesn't wear that much jewelry.
Yeah, that's
but
Callie
she
has the
loved
same
it.
problem. She
Yeah.
makes tons and tons of jewelry, but she's like, I don't actually wear jewelry all that
Yeah,
much.
she wears
but-
rings mostly, and then like one or two necklaces, and that's it.
yeah,
Kind
yeah,
of like me with my shirts. I
Yeah.
like a couple shirts, and good to go.
yeah, pretty much. I wear mostly plain
Mm-hmm.
tees. Like this one's way cool, but I almost never wear it just because I wear plain, no logos whatsoever. Just
Yeah.
I mean, this would be a great work shirt though. Like working out in the yard or something like that, I'll wear shirts like that. So.
Heck yeah. And if anyone asks, direct them our way.
Oh heck yeah, dude! I'll send them over for sure.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't
If
have
you're-
anything to plug.
If your wife has, if you do have links for her and if she wants
Links,
to, send
pictures.
her.
Yeah,
them over,
I'll
we'll-
I'll text them
we'll
over
need
to you once I get them from her. Yeah, she has some way cool stuff. She doesn't have any more 3D printing stuff other than this dragon. I'd like to get her to do more so I can 3D print more things, but that's my own selfish goal
Yeah.
there. But yeah, she
cool.
wire wraps tons of stuff. She's sold stuff to people in Montana and stuff like that, and gone up and we took it up there and sold it and stuff. But anyway, I'll text you some plugs.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
he's the
yeah.
main guy for it. So
Yeah.
let him
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
This is my area right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Command Central. Central Command.
And then for the listeners, as always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe our YouTube videos. We are working on getting the podcasts onto other platforms. Still a work in progress, but we'll update you on that. And don't forget to check out our website, just infinitysummitgroup.com. We got merchandise on there and everything if you want to support us outside of Patreon. And then I think we should start adding our Cash App on there too, just in case, because some people don't like the Patreon, that they get the fact that they get a percentage, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we'll start doing that. But anyways, we'll see you guys next week, and we'll talk about that book, the 10X rule. Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.
Thanks for having me on.